Liucija, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, good. Let's get right into it. So, Verex, that's your main focus. What is it designed to do?
This one, I think it's the most holistic service we have in a poultry industry. I might be biased, working with that. So that's also the tool that I know the best. But why Verex is so special is because it combines necropsies, blood biomarkers, and microbiome in one. We do have in the market players having all these services in separate packages, right? I don't know anyone else who is combining everything in one. And as a veterinarian, I see a big meaning in having the holistic view, right? Having all that data together and looking into it as one picture instead of separate three cuts of the picture.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. It runs under the claim making the invisible visible. Why is this important in the context of gut functionality management?
I think a lot of farmers, when they hear that, they could relate and also I used to be a practicing veterinarian on poultry farms, so I can also very much relate to the expression because sometimes being on the farm or talking to the farmer, we both see that something is not going well, something is off, maybe a small details in the production, but usually for farmer, because he has been working, most of them has been working farm for so many years. There's like it's a gut feeling for them, which is funny, right? Talking about microbiome. And then they call me, and as a veterinarian, I know the things I need to look for, but we can't find it, and that's the invisible part of it. We can't find what is exactly there that gives that off feeling for the farmer, but also, right, we can see in some of the data that it's not going exactly well. So that's the invisible, and making it visible is what Verex does, because by combining necropsy, blood biomarkers, and microbiome, we can see, for example, does animal have acidosis or colosis, which means that the whole pH, blood pH, is off in one end or the other, and that can have a big effect of metabolism, but also calcium phosphorus absorption, for example. Another example could be that we would discover microbiome is, do we have high pathogen load or do we have not enough of good bacteria? Maybe we have both. And without having a thorough analysis and all that data, there's so many guesses, right? I would make a long list of what it could be, and that's usually how I used to work, making a long list of what it could be and then trying to cross out what it's not, right? Differential diagnostics, that's how it works. Verex helps us to move fast forward directly to, okay, what is it and what it's not. And it helps to narrow down maybe list from 10 points to the main 2 or 4, depending on the situation. So yeah, that makes it visible and that helps us make it actionable and something that we can work on.
So, to get to that point, right, to make that diagnostic guess from the side of Verex, it needs a lot of data.
Yeah.
How does that work? Talk me through it. Basically, from farm level all the way to upload. How does Verex get the data?
Thank you for asking this question, because once talking about Verex and mentioning blood biomarkers, I immediately get hands in the audience. So where do I send the blood samples? So it's not exactly that. You don't need to send. You don't need to send anything. We ourselves are coming to. We're coming to one location. We, I mean Verex team, right? Depending on the area where you are, and the country, that team differs. But Verex team is coming to one location, and that also that has two things. It's efficiency, it meaning that we do everything in one spot, we don't need to drive, but it's also biosecurity, because we can be in anywhere, the place we're given. We have done it, you would not believe it, we have done it outside under gazebos, we have done it inside of chicken shed, in the egg layer shed, we have done it in a slaughterhouse empty room, we have done it in the office. Anywhere, I say, as long as we have internet, electricity, and if I'm working, also snacks. So we go, and we set up a place with a few tables. We come with our own blood work machines. We have one blood workstation, and then we have a table for necropsies. So how it works, we're asking to deliver 40 birds in total, and there are some requirements to that. To give the most round and in-depth analysis, we're asking to deliver birds from 8 farms, 5 birds per farm, in different ages and also different production levels. So then we have very thorough analysis of what is going right and what is going wrong. In that way, I can also, looking into data, I can say if there is a specific farm management issues, because sometimes in certain parameters, I would see one farm being red, and then I know that it's not the feed, right? And it's not the vaccination program, it would be the management on that farm. So we get to the location, customer is delivering us the birds. And what I'm also very happy with, we have very thorough identification of the birds. It means every bird is weighed and tagged with a number, and then that bird also put in the iPad doing necropsies, and the same bird has a number on microbiome analysis, right? So it means we can go down back when looking data. I can go back to each of the bird, where it came from, which farm, and what happened. And sometimes that's also very useful when looking into analysis and seeing what is the essence of the findings we have. So we collect the birds, we weigh them, tag them, take blood samples. Blood glass immediately goes to what we call blood work lab, right? The machines that we deliver. And the same, then meanwhile the birds are being delivered to the necropsy table. Usually it's me doing the necropsies. What I'm very happy about, and what I think it's also a very big value of VETX necropsies, because we have 40 parameters who look in each bird. It means every time everything has to be noted, and it gives a very thorough and systematic view, right? So it means it's not that, oh, I forgot to check that legs on that bird or something. There is no forgetting. We have an iPad recorder, someone who sits with the iPad and has a special system, and we need to call in every parameter. I think that also raises necropsies on another level. I would say it's not regular necropsies that usually are being done on the farm. All of that. Meanwhile, of course, we take fecal samples and ceca samples. Those are not analyzed on the farm. They're packed safely and ready to be shipped to our laboratory. But we collect all of the data. Overall, it can take, depending on situation, on 4 or 5 hours of work to do all of that. And yeah, we pack our things, and usually in next week, like a week after sampling, we are able to have a discussion with the customer where we can show data, but more than that, in that week, scientists have looked into the data that has been collected. They prepared slides and translated the science that's in there, all the data that we found, translated into recommendations or inputs that could be used. Right? We can kind of help to plan tangible actions after, and help customer to know what to do with information. Another very nice benefit is that customer can log into the website, see all the data themselves, and of course dig into whatever they want to look into. And there is also a very big peer-reviewed library there, so they can find scientific articles attached to each of the biomarker, but also at each of the condition. Like if we find acidosis, there will be a library explaining acidosis and what plays role in that, and how to walk forward. But when I say that we have library people sometimes think that we're gonna leave them, we're gonna throw data on them, we're gonna throw all the articles, and they're gonna be left with it. So I always assure them that no, we, VETX team and the scientists working with it, we are there to help to translate it, because there's a lot of data we collect, but we want to make it, in the end, we want to make into actions how they can move forward and have benefits for their production that will be tangible economical benefits for them.
Okay, great. Generally, in animal diagnostics, the traditional tools, especially for the veterinarian, are histology, PCR, takes time, is unclear, is pathogen based. Biomarkers per se, what are the big change they're bringing to the health game?
think biomarkers haven't been looked at before. That's also the value of VEDAX, because the machines we are using, they're regular small animal machines. So that's not it. That's not the hardware. That is the essence of VEDAX, but the benchmark, because anyone can take broiler blood and analyze and see where's globulin, albumin, but without benchmark, how do you know? Like
Exactly.
how do
What's
you?
the health?
Yeah, what's the health? How do you define? Is it where it should be or not? So the essence here is that we have benchmarks, and we have huge database on that, right? So it has been confirmed many times that this is a correct benchmark, and that is working, and it is delivering results to the customer. And also we have models. And models, I would say it's a few biomarkers mixed in together, right, to give you a very fast conclusion. So you don't need to go look into each a biomarker, but then you immediately see a model on heat stress, for example, or immunity, right? It immediately shoots a very nice diagram on the website saying like this is in a green area or not. So
Okay.
I think it's that's the essence of that and the main benefit.
So, in the context of biomarkers
Mm-hmm.
and gut functionality, metabolic failure, or health,
Mm-hmm.
what are the most telling biomarkers?
Oh, I would say there is quite a few. I would, what I prefer to look at in one of the first things is albumin and globulin as indicators of immunity, which immediately tells me, are these animals pressured? Is the immunity challenge right on the farm? Because that could be indication of working with having some kind of pathogen on the farm. For gut health, carotenoids are also very important to see that we have a good absorption. That could also be indication of some kind of gut health disturbances. I really like uric acid. That tells me about proteins, how are proteins in the feed, amino acid balance. That's also a very good one. I would say the biggest or like the fastest return on investment is on phosphorus. I don't know anyone who has done it before that they would have analyzed phosphorus in broiler blood, and phosphorus is an expensive material to have in the feed. And in my experience talking with nutritionists, the mindset usually is that, especially in the starter feed in the first week of the broilers, they are afraid to underdose it. It's crucial part of bone development. They are afraid to give not enough of it. And what we are starting to see in our analysis that actually give too much. So immediately, if I see very high phosphorus above our benchmark, I immediately can say that there is a very nice feed feed cost cut there. So that's kind of a easy one and nice one to and very obvious to look and have. So yeah, also like glucose, that tells about pellet quality. So that's a few on top of my head.
All right. Okay. Great. So traditional performance metrics like FCR or weight gain, weight loss, they give you part of the picture. What does VERIX show you that these can't reveal?
Yeah. So VERIX would show you. I would say that even if you're thinking, I think two ways, right? One could be that someone is thinking that they already have optimized FCR and in the best pace possible. I think VERIX could show them that they could still get that 1 point and would show in which direction going they would get that extra point. But overall, it gives us a lot. These are very, I would say, quite narrow metrics. Overall, VERIX gives information about how the whole feed is utilized, like calcium and phosphorus, for example. Phosphorus just talked before. Is this where it should be? Are we reaching the optimum? Are we reaching the optimal level and of genetic potential of these birds? Yeah, so I would see calcium, phosphorus, one of those things, which depending or is animal in the very much depending on if animal is in a healthy pH, is it normal, or is it more alkalotic or more acidotic, that has influence on how calcium and phosphorus actually is absorbed in the body. Meaning that could have also influence on how it should be put in the feed, or what doses of it should be put in the feed. So it's a lot more round. It's a lot more round than just FCR, body weight gain, and it and when FCR, body weight gain, is kind of an end result. It doesn't tell you what to do to get it better. Meanwhile, with VEDX, we immediately, when we get the results, most of the times, there are some cases where we could say that there are a few factors playing in, but most of the times we can say what we need to do to get better and to increase or decrease depending on the parameter.
Mm-hmm. Cases is an interesting point. You presented a few use cases. One of them was called Frontrunner. Tell us about that.
Yeah. In my presentation, I presented two types of customers, because I had a pleasure of working with two different types. I don't know, maybe there's a third one. But I think it's very important to mention them, because I wouldn't like to put VEDX in one box of problem-solving tool. Because it could seem like that, right? You're calling VEDX team if you have a problem. So I have a customer who I called Frontrunner, because these are people who are they are front runners. They are very innovative. They do have in the market where they're working, they have more than 40% of the market, which really puts them into leading positions. Having in mind that there's three feed mills in the area, right? What I really liked about them when they came to us, it was that they were interested in innovation. They knew that we have this innovation VEDX. Sustainability for them, it's not just flashy words on their website. It's truly the core value for people who are working with that. So it's nutritionists and veterinarians. But what was interesting there, they didn't come to me having any kind of production issues. They felt that they are curious to know if there's anything they can improve on regards to sustainability. Already have very, very low soya diet, I would say. And they were like, well, maybe you will be able with this innovation reveal something more we can do. But no accurate, there was no accurate problem that we should solve. And what was very interesting, that while working with them, we were still able to cut their feed cost. Actually, that was phosphorus, and that gave a nice return on investment. I really like when I asked my customer how big was return on investment. She didn't want to say exactly, but she said we could pay for VEDX many, 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 many times.
Maybe she shouldn't have told you that, huh?
Yeah, I think she didn't want to put exact number in it. We were talking with a colleague. Maybe she's afraid that the price for the service would rise.
It might.
But definitely her her answer gave us a good feeling that they're definitely happy with how it's going.
So basically the concept is they're moving from diagnosing disease to managing health.
And being preventative, right?
Yeah.
And also managing health, but also and also optimizing feed, which honestly, if I'm being very honest, I didn't believe it was possible. It's a customer of many years. We know them very well. We've worked on many things with them. And they are truly front runners, and they're really, really, everyone is only saying good words about them. But we managed to cut some feed cost. We saw some alkalosis in there, not a high level, but still that's actually connected to low soya diet and electrolyte imbalance, which we were also able to give recommendations to fix. And there was femoral head necrosis, which was 8% at that time. But then again, with fine tuning, and I'm really meaning fine tuning, we were able to go to 5% at the next year. So that was really, really nice findings. And on top of that, we're able to confirm practices that are working well. So we're able to say very well balanced amino acids, very good pellet quality, great immunity, no heat stress, and most important, also very well balanced gut health. And we also know why they have poultry star in the hatchery. And throughout the production, there's quite a lot of fiber. They use wheat in the feed, so that makes sense that the probiotics that are being they're being given to the broilers in the beginning of production have the fiber for the feed, which is in the feed, and they thrive and they are delivering very good results. So that also tells them that if they would like to, if they have resources and they want to put it somewhere, I wouldn't say that gut health is the priority in that, right? Probably there is abilities to go to even higher level, but their findings were already our benchmark. So I think they're in a good state. So if they wanted to use resource for something else, I would recommend something in the list, but not the gut health. And I think that was also very nice for them to know that this practice is working, and now they have a data telling that. So that's also very good recording in the book.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So who's the challenger's case?
Challenger's case was also very interesting because that's where I also got a lot more knowledge about acidosis and what acidosis does for the customer. It was interesting because the feed mill, the customer, was talking about having a bit too much of wet litter issues, but it's also not clear on and off in different farms. And of course, with wet litter, we also have foot pad lesions, which also not optimal, especially in Europe. What was interesting and what Verex also gives these in-depth conversations with customers, and while talking, even though that was kind of said that this is going to be the scene, right? Working on wet litter, talking with the nutritionist, I found out that they have increased phosphorus in the starter feed by 20%, hoping to increase to have a better leg health, which was interesting. Then and also in the end, I could see in the blood data that it was very, very high. And another finding was that we found 42% of femoral head necrosis, which is quite high percent to have, and I just mentioned the other case where it was from 8 to 5, to have another case with 42, that's quite high. And here immediately, I think Verac shows what it can, because they were trying to increase leg health by adding that phosphorus. And I immediately see that that's not phosphorus, what it is. We do microbiome analysis. We find quite a lot of Enterococcus aurum. Enterococcus aurum is known bacteria to be causing lameness because of acidosis. Calcium and phosphorus balance, it also is not working as it should be. Maybe we'll not go in all the nitty-gritty nerdy details. So what it tells me, it seems to be that acidosis is influencing calcium absorption, so the bone in itself is not as strong as it should be. And then on top of it, we have Enterococcus aurum, which loves to find all the little holes in the bone to come and cause problem there. So my idea that with it's a very new case, so even though we have presented the data for the customer, and I don't have the result as I have with another case result, because we have been working with them for 2 years. With this customer, I don't have the end result, that they changed this and they got that kind of a outcome. But I believe that it is possible. It is possible to improve that. And in their case, we know, and what Verak showed, that it will not be enough to work only on the feed. Microbiome showed that they have good microbiome. They have quite a good abundant bacteria microflora, but the pathogen load was simply high. Enterococcus shouldn't be in the levels that we found, shouldn't be there. We also find high levels of E. coli. So it tells us that on top of working on the feed and balancing what they can in the feed, they should be talking with their farmers on sanitation and farm management and cleaning on a better level to reduce that pathogen load. And I believe that together with the feed and farm sanitation, they could also reduce significantly the femoral head necrosis percentage prevalence.
On the level of antibiotic reduction, is there something that Varex offers producers there?
I haven't had a case. Personally, I haven't worked on a case like that because in Nordics we already are on very low level. But of course, I think having a farmer who is using too much of antibiotics, I'm just hypothetically thinking how I would approach that. After running Veras, we would know again, is it not enough good bacteria? Is it too many of the bad bacteria? Is it both? Talking about microbiome. And then also question is why are they using the antibiotics? Because if it's the same BC lameness, which is femoral head necrosis, that's synonyms. Then we would also see, are the bones strong enough to are they having good calcium and phosphorus, vitamin D metabolism, right? Are the bones strong enough, or we need to work on bacterial load and also work on the better leg ossification and stronger legs. So that would immediately tells us, or maybe calcium and phosphorus is going great and we just need to put in probiotic because they're lacking the good bacteria. So that would again give a very clear action plan. That's why I like Verax so much. It gives a very clear action plan once you run the service.
Okay, great. So looking forward, talking about AI automation and predictive modeling, in that context of what technology offers now, how do you see Varex evolving?
That's a good question. I think it will be easier and faster, and probably soon with AI and machine learning. Scientists, Verax team and scientists, as I said, sit and prepare slides. Probably will not need to do that because there will be such enormous amount of data, and machine learning will so develop that we will not need to make those slides, I can imagine. Eventually, maybe the results will come. The results are already coming quickly. It's just part where scientist sits and puts the slides together. That's a bit slower, but eventually maybe customers will be able to get tables into their phones the same day, right? Like ping message, and you have all the data of the sampling that happened 4 hours ago, because machine learning will be able to analyze and give robust conclusions immediately. Yeah.
Well, I hope that for you, so you have to make less slides.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I thank you very much for your time, Liucija.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been very interesting.
Thank you.